The U.S. is sending new military equipments to Greece. Some sources argue that these actions are against Turkey. The U.S. Air Force has deployed warplanes and personnel at the Elefsina Air Base near the Greek capital, Athens. The initial arrival of sizable U.S. aircraft has been observed at the Elefsina Air Base, the primary hub for the 112th Combat Wing of the Greek Air Force. There are indications that additional Greek air bases, such as the one on the island of Karpathos, might also be involved, pending approval from the U.S. military regarding their infrastructure. According to military sources, a U.S. base on the Greek island of Crete is presently operating at maximum capacity, hosting 30 aircraft, which include 8 aerial refueling tankers, 10 transport planes, and a contingent of U.S. Marines. The Elefsina Air Base is being considered for potential use in evaluating U.S. citizens from conflict zones and as a designated refueling and parking hub. The recent development coincides with the reinforcement of Washington's presence in the region to support Israel's conflict with Hamas in Gaza. This situation has raised concerns about potential regional escalation and involvement of other forces. As part of this reinforcement, 2 U.S. warships have already been deployed to the eastern Mediterranean. On October 21st, the Pentagon declared that the United States would dispatch a Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System and additional Patriot Air Defense Missile System battalions to the region. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin stated, following detailed discussions with President Biden on recent escalations by Iran and its proxy forces across the Middle East region, "Today I directed a series of additional steps to further strengthen the Department of Defense posture in the region." On the other side, the United States aims to convert the Alexandroupoli port, previously utilized for the transportation of weapons and personnel to the Balkans and Europe, into a military naval base. Allegations suggest that the objective is for U.S. companies to secure the tender for the Alexandroupolis port, currently undergoing privatization, and expand the facility to accommodate U.S. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers and similar-sized warships. According to the Greek daily Kathimerini, the U.S. has conveyed its intentions to the Greek authorities on multiple occasions, predominantly through high-ranking military officials. Under the Defense Cooperation Agreement, Greece designated the Yenily headquarters in Alexandroupoli, situated just 40 kilometers from Turkey, as a base for the U.S. In the designated quarters, facilities capable of accommodating 300 to 400 people were constructed to house U.S. soldiers utilizing the port for travel to the European countries. While Turkey is closely monitoring the military mobilization of U.S. troops in Alexandroupoli, it is noted that this doesn't represent an intensive deployment. The port of Alexandroupoli primarily serves travelers with daily services to the islands of Samothrace and Lemnos. However, owing to its strategic location on NATO's eastern flank, it holds significant military logistical importance. While U.S. destroyers can dock at the major naval base of the Hellenic Navy and NATO in Suda Bay of Crete, the potential transformation of Alexandroupoli into a military naval base indicates an expanded U.S. military presence in the region. The base in Alexandroupoli functions as the second largest naval base for the Hellenic Navy in terms of the number of warships harbored. Moreover, it stands as the largest and most significant naval base for NATO in the eastern Mediterranean Sea. Notably, it boasts the sole deep-water port in southern Europe and the Mediterranean Sea with the capability to accommodate and maintain the largest aircraft carriers. The Greek media highlighted the U.S.'s keen interest in constructing a new facility at the base in Crete, facilitating the deployment of large unmanned aerial vehicles and F-35s. The U.S. installs maritime awareness domain radars in the Aegean to enhance the monitoring of Russian warship activities in the eastern Mediterranean. In 2021, the U.S. Army deployed approximately 3,800 soldiers, including 80 tanks, 130 Bradley fighting vehicles, 10 Bradley Fire Support Team vehicles, 15 Paladins, 500 tracked vehicles, 850 trailers, and 1,500 wheeled vehicles, along with other pieces of equipment. This deployment extends to ports in Poland and Lithuania alongside the port in Alexandroupoli. The commitment of ready, combat credible U.S. forces to Europe under the Atlantic Resolve operation demonstrates a robust and unwavering linkage to NATO and Europe. The operation, through bilateral, joint, and multinational training, contributes to readiness, increases interoperability, and strengthens the ties between ally and partner militaries. The strategic location of Alexandroupoli, along with the developing axis towards Varna in Bulgaria, has gained significant value in U.S. and NATO strategic planning. It serves as an alternative route to the Straits of the Bosphorus, a critical consideration given the importance of the Black Sea. Current U.S. planning emphasizes flexibility and mobility, signifying a departure from the reliance on large bases such as Ramstein, Germany. The focus now lies on facilities that facilitate the stationing and movement of forces. Greece and the U.S. signed a mutual defense cooperation agreement. The initial agreement led to the establishment of a U.S. base off the island of Crete. In the updated October 2019 deal, the Suda base expanded, and the Stefanovicchio, Larissa, and Alexandroupoli bases were made available to the U.S. In October 2020, Greek Foreign Minister Nikos Dendias indicated plans to either broaden the scope of the defense agreement or sign a new one. Furthermore, the U.S. has a substantial military stockpile on Crete, and the USS Herschel Woody Williams battleship, one of the largest in the U.S. Navy, has been permanently stationed at the military base in Suda Bay on the island of Crete. Former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced the ship's permanent presence. Consequently, U.S. officials have requested facilities in Greek naval and air bases across 20 different regions, including Skyros Island as well as Kavala and Thessaloniki. In the political negotiations between the U.S. and Greece, Athens pursued specific favor, particularly seeking assurances of defense against Turkey. Despite recent statements from Greece asserting that America's military activities and bases in the country do not align with the spirit of the Cold War era, it is evident that the U.S. expanding its military presence in Greece is a strategic move concerning Turkey. Washington's geopolitical interests in the Mediterranean can be broadly summarized as encircling Russia from the south, impeding China from the east, safeguarding its energy interests in the eastern Mediterranean, and ensuring the security of Israel. But for Greece, it is also an action towards Turkey. The United States refrains from direct involvement in conflicts between nations, but its expanding military and security collaborations with Greece are seen as factors contributing to Athens adopting an increasingly provocative stance towards Ankara. Although the tension between the two countries remains suspended for now, the ongoing armament process may cause new regional crises in the near future.